In this exercise, we will start using keyframe easing and we will create this animation. I'm gonna play it one more time. Takes off. The other one lands. And we see the logo. New composition. I'm gonna change the duration to 15 seconds. Okay. Right click, import, file. I go exercise 11. I select all the images, import. I'm gonna start with the airport image, drag and drop like this. I'm gonna bring the plane right here. I'm gonna duplicate the plane. We need two planes selected here. Control D, I duplicate, and I'm gonna put the other one right here just to make it a little bit visible. I'm gonna bring the logo. I'm gonna press Control and I'm gonna snap it in the middle like this. Text 1 right here and text 2 right here. I'm gonna select the logo. I press Shift, text 1 and text 2. I'm gonna click on Window and click on Align. We get this small window, and I'm gonna click here, Align horizontally, just to make sure they are aligned like this. And I'm gonna make the 3 layers invisible, and I'm gonna start animating the plane. Starting with the first one. I'm gonna hide it completely like this. Move it to the left. Press P. I click on the stopwatch. After 3 seconds, I'm gonna move it like this horizontally. I'm gonna select both keyframes and I'm gonna move the whole thing a little bit up like this. Now we get a normal animation like this, and at this point the plane is gonna take off. I'm gonna move about 1.5 seconds like this, and I'm gonna take the plane from here to here like this. I need to modify the motion path. I select the pen tool, I click here, and I make it linear. This is exactly what we want. No curve in the motion path. I'm gonna press J, go to this keyframe, Shift and R to bring the rotation. I'm gonna click on the stopwatch. I press K. I put the time indicator in this position, on the same position as the other keyframe, and I'm gonna type -35 degrees. Press enter. Now, as you see, it rotates as it starts taking off like this. Last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this keyframe right here, right click, keyframe assistant, and I'm gonna choose easy ease out. What it did, if I zoom in, I notice here the distance between the points is very small, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That means when the plane takes off, starts slowly and then gets faster and faster and faster. I'm gonna play the animation. Starts slow and then gets faster and flies in the sky. If I select these keyframes, I go to graph editor. I make sure edit speed graph is selected. We see here the speed. It goes from 0 to this level, about 1400 pixels per second, gradually. And this is exactly the effect we wanted. I'm gonna move to the next plane now. I'm gonna animate this one. This one is gonna land here and then continues. I go to selection tool. I hide the plane right here. I press P, position. I click on the stopwatch of the position. The time indicator is at 6 seconds. Playhead right here. I click on the stopwatch, and after about 1.5 seconds, the plane is gonna land right here. And then continues from here to here. I'm gonna put the time indicator at 10 seconds, and I'm gonna move the airplane from here to here. I'm gonna press shift to make sure it moves horizontally like this. And of course I don't want this curve. I go to pen tool and I'll make the motion path completely linear. This is exactly what we wanted. And one last thing, I'm gonna select this keyframe, right click, keyframe assistant, and I'm gonna choose easy ease in. And now when it lands, starts fast, you can see the distance between these dots. There's a big difference here, a big distance between the dots, and the gap gets smaller and smaller. So the plane, when it comes in fast and then lands, I'm gonna play it one more time. Fast, slows down, and then lands, just like this. I'm gonna select all the keyframes, go to the graph editor, and you can see what's happening here. Speed fast, and then goes slow, and then continues. The speed here is steady. There is a small problem here. We notice the plane at this exact point, it stops completely. The speed hits 0 and then goes from 0 to 500 pixels per second. We can change that. Selection tool, and I can move this point up a little bit like this. And now it lands and continues, and the speed never reaches 0. I think this looks much better, I think. Click again on graph editor to come back. Now I'm gonna animate the logo. I'm gonna make these layers visible. I'm gonna place the playhead at 11 seconds. I click on logo. I'm gonna press S to bring the scale. I click on the stopwatch. I go back 1 second and I'm gonna type 0% in the scale, and now we have this animation. I'll move to text 1. I'm gonna place the playhead at 12 seconds. Press P for the position. Click on the stopwatch. Go back 1 second. And I'm gonna take it to the left. I'm gonna press Shift like this and hide it completely. And now we get this animation from left to right. I'm gonna place the playhead at 13 seconds. I select text 2, press P, click on the stopwatch, and I go back 1 second like this, and I'm gonna move it to the right. I press Shift like this, and now we get this animation. I'm gonna play the 3. I think this looks good, but it's a little bit robotic. We can make it smoother and more natural by easy easing these keyframes. We can easy ease all these keyframes. To do that, I'm gonna select the keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, and click on easy ease. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, or I can use the shortcut F9. We're gonna be using this a lot. F9, easy ease, and now these 2 keyframes, F9, easy ease. If I play now, I think this is a much better result. I'm gonna play the entire animation now. And now the exercise is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.